Hello, I'm Richard with EV4U. In this video, I will show you how to build an electric bed lift system for a cargo trailer conversion. To me, the bed or bedroom in a travel trailer is space that is dedicated to something that is only used for a minimal amount of time every day. Yet it requires quite a bit of space. Just not the best use of space, especially if the overall area is small to begin with. But that just might be me. I want to dedicate the most space possible to the things I do during the hours of the day that I'm awake. So, what about the bed and where do you put it? Convertible beds must be made up and taken down every day, and you have to store the sheets and pillows somewhere. Murphy beds can take up floor and wall space and are typically not that comfortable. So, what to do? Well, everyone uses their trailers differently and have their own unique priorities. So, what is important to me may not be important to you. I decided to go with a lift bed, as I thought it had the least interference in regards to the small amount of floor space available in my trailer, which is 8 foot by 17.5 foot. The reason for that length is because I wanted the truck and trailer to fit in a head-to-head parking space. The lift bed allows me to raise the bed up and out of the way during the day and lower it at bedtime. There are several different ways to make a bed lift system. Some of the common ways were either more expensive than I cared for, or there was some other reason that made me continue to contemplate my next move. What I came up with is a system that I had not seen anyone else use. It's fairly inexpensive, especially since I already had the winch. It does not require much floor or wall space, and it goes up and down quickly, less than 10 seconds, and the bedding stays on the bed. We had been using it now for 2 years, and the system works great, and the 10-inch memory foam mattress is very comfortable. In case others want to use the same setup, I'm sharing the design and information how to build one yourself. Before I explain how to build it, let me show you what the setup looks like. Note that an 8-foot wide trailer perfectly accommodates a queen-size bed lengthwise across the trailer. Here's a graphic of the floor space available with the bed up and when it's down. You can see that in a 17.5 foot trailer, a queen size bed, if it were a fixed bed, eats up a lot of real estate. But if it's up out of the way, you've got all that room for whatever. Now that you've seen what the bed looks like in the up and down positions, let's talk about the mechanics of the system. The most critical part is locating the vertical strut channels so that they are vertical and square to one another, as well as match the dimensions of the bed platform. This requires having the trailer level, both side to side and front to rear. Make sure any reference points you use are precise, both horizontally and vertically. Here's some examples of the strut channel and a trolley. The strut channel attaches to the wall and the trolley attaches to the bed frame and runs in the strut channel. I made custom mounts which attach the strut channel to the wall and at the same time provide a perfectly located mount for the individual corner pulleys. Notice that the pulleys are located so that the cable runs down the center of the strut channel to line up with the trolley. I determined where the strut channels were to be located on the walls, then marked and drilled the mounting holes. I then removed the section of wall where the struts were located and installed wood nuts on the back side in the mounting holes that were drilled in the 1/2-inch plywood walls. This allowed the strut channels to be bolted to the wall, which is what I did once the wall sections were placed back in place. Cables and pulleys are necessary to pull the trolley up the strut channel. This system allows one cable from a winch to raise the 4 bed corners equally. These photos show the strut channel and pulley mount being designed and built, and then this one shows the strut channel and pulley installed. Next, we have a graphic of one side or one end of the bed lift system. At the rear of the trailer, in the corner, are 2 pulleys that are stacked vertically that redirect the cable to the center of the rear wall. Notice the cable trolleys in the strut channel. Cables go from the strut trolleys up around pulleys and then go back to the back corner of the trailer in my case. Note that the rear corner strut channel pulley is slightly lower than the front corner strut channel pulley. This allows the cables to run parallel to one another and align with the rear stacked pulleys. The rear pulley block in the center of the rear wall redirects the cables downwards towards the cable trolley. Once again, notice the height difference of the pulleys, allowing the cables to run parallel to one another. The front bed corner cable runs higher than the rear bed corners and go to the inner pulleys on the rear pulley block. Here's a graphic showing how the system takes the cables from the strut channel trolleys and redirects it to the pulley block. The pulley locations allow the cables to continue parallel to one another. From the rear pulley block, the cables are directed downward and terminate at the cable trolley. The cables mount to the cable trolley using eye bolts, and these are eye bolts, long threaded eye bolts. This allows adjustability to the individual cables, allowing the corners of the bed to all be the same height. To ensure that the 4 strut channel trolleys were all in the same height, I used what's called a water level. I then made a reference mark on all 4 strut channels at the exact same height, thanks to the water level. I then secured the strut trolleys at that position. Next, I secured the cable trolley to the rear wall, making sure that the overall cable length and the cable trolleys were positioned to allow for the full bed travel up and down, and then adjusted the cable tension so that all 4 cables were tensioned the same. A winch attaches to the bottom of the cable trolley and is used to raise and lower the bed. The winch I used is overkill, but it's just one I happen to have laying around. The cables, cable trolley, etc. are covered to give things a cleaner look. The cable, pulleys, winch, etc. are sized based on the total weight of the bed platform, the mattress, etc. This system can be modified and you can place the winch against a different wall. The principle will be the same, but you can have the cables go to, in this case, any of the 3 walls. I just happened to choose the back wall because that's what worked best in my instance. Perhaps this plants a seed for some other possibilities, and I hope this helps you in designing your own lift bed system. For contrast, here's a floor plan and some photos of a factory-produced trailer of the same size. It features a Murphy bed in the front of the trailer. Here are a few comparisons between the factory-produced trailer and the cargo trailer conversion, just to give you an idea of how they, compare to one another, and to give you an idea of why I chose to do a conversion versus buy a factory-produced trailer. It was because we got the exact things that we wanted, like a lift bed, large counter space, lots of storage, greater payload capacity, tandem axle, on and on and on. There were things that were important to us, and we built the trailer to meet our exact needs. And you can do the same. And I wish you all the best. Thanks for watching.